Well, now I'm going to tell my side of my experiences with Jennifer going into the hospital. They wouldn't get her up. They wouldn't even sit her up. It has been extremely frustrating. I remember when she was not feeling well there for a while, and that was very concerning because I didn't really know whether it was, I always think the worst, like cancer or what, like, okay, cancer. And God forbid you Google anything, because then you're going to know that you're going to have to go to the ER now. However, so we waited day after day, week after week, hoping that her symptoms would let up. And it continued, the pain continued, other symptoms were continuing. It helps not to look in the camera and me think about like looking off into my thoughts. So sorry if I'm not looking into the camera. Helps me think better because I don't have a teleprompter. However, so that went on for a while. Finally, she said, "Hey, go ahead and call." So I called. Did not know that was going to last. That 911 call was going to last 7 months of anguish in its many different forms. Glad though, that was a good thing, because she was septic with a bad infection, and so that really was a blessing. She got a room pretty quick. I don't really know what to say. I guess my highlights of some of the frustrations and stuff of going through all of this. So she was admitted, and then it was like, all right, this is only going to be like 3 days. 3 days to a week, maybe. Get cleared up, send you home with some antibiotics, whatever. And then, but one thing kept going into another thing, kept going into another thing. The first other thing was after 3 days, that's when she realized she could not get out of bed. She could not get up. She could not even sit up. Well, her body was very weak. And I'm sure a lot of it had to do with not only weight, but just being septic. So there was a lot going against her there. And then PT started, and then more symptoms persisted, like her consciousness would fade out, and she had really low blood pressure. And I mean, if I had my notes, I could go over like a myriad of symptoms and things and happenings and questions to ask the doctor. I was constantly trying to keep track of every little detail about what she was going through so that I can intelligently speak to the doctor, ask the doctor questions or the nurse questions to relate to the doctor, or just to keep track of so that we know kind of the fuller picture, what's going on, so that they can hand the baton over to the next nurse and the next shift. Well, because, yeah. So that was pretty stressful, and there are times that during those first couple of weeks, 3 weeks, that's where a lot of these symptoms were that I'm speaking of, these experiences. It was very stressful. I thought I was going to lose my woman. I did not know. I was praying fervently, and of course, asking others to pray and lift her up. It was very heartbreaking to see her go through all this and not knowing exactly what was going to happen, and just trying to prepare myself at some level past any kind of denial, because there's always denial. Like, this won't happen. I have faith. God's not going to let it happen. We're going to carry on. I had to look past that denial a little bit and see think this actually could happen, and how am I going to handle it? And that was very tough. It's like, I don't think I would be able to handle it very well. Just like the next person, I couldn't imagine what people have gone through who've lost their loved one, their mate, their husband or wife, or even girlfriend, boyfriend. But anyways, so, and then PT kicked in. She was starting to make progress. And I was like, all right, high hopes, good. And then pain started kicking in again, so then she couldn't get up, and it was one thing or another. One thing was against another. And in the medical field, damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you do this, then you're not going to be able to do this. But if you don't do this, then this here is going to be even more of an issue. So then it's like a dance of these opposites. Whether it's medication, that's the main thing I guess I'm speaking of. Medication, symptoms, and such, especially if someone has more than just one problem. So that was very frustrating. And then to try to hone in what the priority would be between the dance of doing that. But so then, PT kicked in. She started making progress. Then that other things started happening, and then so that put her back. Now we're into about three weeks or so. The first week of September. There was a lot that happened during this time, so that's why I'm spending a lot of focus and concentration during this first part. It was very intense. And here at the house, I was very lonely. Luna didn't care. She, I think, really enjoyed just having me here all by ourselves, with Moo. She don't mind Moo. However, she is making a lot of progress with Jennifer. It's very shocking. We've taken some pictures of her because there's been some Kodak moments of her actually hopping up on Jennifer's lap and hopping up on her bed and wanting actually to have something to do with her, some attention. So that's really neat. Back on track though. Here at the house I was very lonely. I did cry quite a bit in the first few weeks, but then after that I kind of got used to it. But it was very dark, sad, lonely, and quiet, and just a missing soul. Now that persisted throughout the whole 7 months. Just the missing link, the darkness, the loneliness, the emptiness. However, my emotional state, my mental state got used to that. So I didn't cry as much. I kind of got over it. I got used to it. However, but it was pretty tough in the beginning, emotionally. And then going through all this stuff, like, am I going to lose my woman in the very beginning because of all these different symptoms and all these damn if you do, damn if you don't. So then PT was making progress, and there's a little of this happening, and then PT was making more progress. She was making progress. She was starting to get up. She was starting to move. She was starting to, and then PT, another crew would come in, or the next day they wouldn't get her up. They wouldn't even sit her up. And I'm just thinking to myself, she just sat up yesterday. She does not need any time to sit or lay or just whatever. No backtracking, because we already been backtracking for the past 3 weeks off and on for different kinds of whatevers. So I had to tell him, this is unacceptable. We have to meet her where she is at. She was standing up. We need to get her up and continue on. Then continue on with her progress. And all I was being told is that, that they are not a full-on rehab type people. I understand that, but what I don't understand is any physical therapist, good physical therapist, should know that you're going to take a person's baseline, so to speak, work on that in order to graduate them to the next baseline. So then now we have a new level of improvement, which now we have a new baseline. So you take that one, you work in order to improve to the next level. It only makes sense. It's common sense. I mean, you're not going to just do bed exercises for the rest of your life, right? So, however, anyways, very frustrating process with physical therapy in general. All the way through this entire experience has absolutely been frustrating and infuriating. Even when she went to the so-called skilled nursing facility. Crap. Just crap. Absolute garbage. Everything has just kind of been just garbage. Not to say that there hasn't been hard workers, good people with great intentions, people that are fulfilling their callings as nurses, as doctors, as physical therapists, but the whole picture as a whole has been extremely frustrating. And I mean, really, there's really too much to really even say or share through all of this. There's not going to be one person but God that would actually understand. There's a lot worse places that a lot of people have been in. I'm just saying, for me personally, this has been extremely trying and frustrating. It's been trying. There's a lot more behind that's been trying. Just going through the entire process of watching my woman struggle with certain symptoms, and then it's almost like a curse just following every step of the way. It's like, where's the effing blessing? And where's the relief? Where's the silver lining? So back to skilled nursing. Now we're into month 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Early on, she was making progress, but they would be on their phones. And anytime that Jennifer would mention something about her life, they would be like, oh yeah, we blah, 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 and talk about their lives and all that. Honestly, when people are going through a tough time, we don't give a shit about your vacations or about your kids or about who you almost really are. It may sound selfish, but it's like there's so much that's going on in the person's mind and spirit and body. At least in my experience in those moments, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. Maybe Jennifer did. I'm just speaking on my own. Maybe I was in a worse off shape than she was. Usually that's the case I hear is the family members worse off than the person going through the shit. But it just seemed really selfish on their end, getting on their phones, talking about themselves all the time. Who cares about your phone? We're working on PT. Put your focus on the moment. Whatever, just go with the flow. Then she caught COVID, and it was like, really? It's like, that's why I wanted her to come home right after the freaking initial hospital, because I was thinking, all right, you can catch anything in these places, and God knows how you're going to be treated anyways. But there was some kind of hope that there would be some actual professional skilled nursing and real improvement to go on with the hopes of being protected from any disease, illness, or further issues. Well, no, there really wasn't. So one thing after another went on, and then she got denied of this, that, and the other. Oh, speaking of denied, back at the hospital, there was issues. The reason why she was there for the second month, there was issues with, so the first month was clouded up with symptoms and weaknesses and health issues. The second month was clouded up with pretty much kind of the same, but it led up the symptoms and the health issues. she was still having it and still being monitored. However, we were really focusing more on they, on as far as the social workers, on releasing her and finding her a place to go. There was insurance issues. There was bariatric issues because of her weight. There was so is either this place is denied, or this place is not equipped, or this place is not the insurance is not going to cover that place. So okay, those 3 places, and it just went on just like that. Bam, 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 bam. So that we wait another month, and then with PT not really, doing much. So then she goes in skilled nursing. So now back to that. So this goes on, COVID. Then her insurance cuts her off. Then the physical therapist actually had the goal to put down on paper that she wasn't willing to put in the work. The hell? She was putting in the work and putting forth effort, desire. She had pain again, just like she did at the hospital, and she had COVID, which exaggerated everything else. Weakness, you name it. What are all the COVID symptoms? So that was frustrating. And I corrected them. I don't know if they corrected on their little paper, probably not. However, so then we sit there. We sit there just camping out, having a good time. I guess after a while we kind of got used to it, kind of waiting around on them to do something. Well, you don't ever do that. Don't ever wait for somebody else to come around, because they never do. Nobody does. Nobody cares. Nobody cares in this life. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares except numero uno. And if you have a good mate, you're a mate. Other than that, brothers, sisters, God, hell, I don't even know where he is. She, he, she, whatever the hell. Nobody cares. You're gonna have to take action. So anyways, finally, I was like, where is somebody? Call the social worker. Where are we at with this? Can we reinstate PT? Yeah, we'll look into that. Okay, good. Good, thank you. Of course, being polite. And we wait a whole nother week, just waiting. Nothing. And then I don't know if we fell asleep or something, but we got used to me going up there and enjoying each other's company, and she would do some bed exercises. We'd work on our own self, and then but we wanted more help, more skilled nursing help. That's the whole reason why we're there. We're not there for the free food, even though the food was just top notch. The care was just, I'm telling you, people, if you ever been at a skilled nursing facility, skip the cruise ship, go straight to the skilled nursing. So I don't know what else to say about all this. Finally, at some point, I know Jennifer mentioned this, it was like, a social worker came in, just called him again after months and months and months and months and months, and is like, hey, we gonna do something about going home? And then she was like, oh, you wanna go home? No, we're just here on vacation. Yeah, she has a life. We were a part of council here. We have dreams, plans. We're trying our damnedest to be sober and to live a sober life, and that includes food as well, and becoming our better self, getting out of this housing unit, etc., etc. So they're really, the system is just broke, for one. 2, it's a business. They're using it for money. 3, there's a lot of assholes there that really don't want to be there. They're just there for a paycheck. Granted, they're great people, and I definitely want to say thank you for your service. But I know that you're in basically a broken, rough system, in a business, greedy system that is sluggish and slow, and then you got this COVID now that is just screwing it all up even more, making it more sluggish and slow. And so I really feel sorry for you guys, the good ones out there. Just thank you. doctors, nurses, PT guys, social workers. There's a lot of awesome guys out there and gals. So I don't know. That's pretty much it in a nutshell on my end. It's been infuriating, frustrating, and I'm proud of Jennifer very much for her doing what she's doing. And Jennifer says we are happy with what we have now. Amen to that. She's back home, and she's making more progress than she has since I don't know, ever.
So I gave the phone to Gene so he could finish up, and then I forgot what we were doing.
Of course, she has to have the last word.
I have to have the last word because everybody knows how mean I am, especially to Gene.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
I was waiting for something, but he didn't say anything. I was waiting for some kind of something. Like an SOS from the background.
Right.
Save me. So anyhow, that's the wrap up of my experiences being in the skilled nursing, the hospital. It was just a bad experience. Luckily, though, moving forward, it's kind of hard to forget all that because I remember all the wasted time, but it is good to look forward to what the future holds. Like I said, I've made more progress in 3 weeks than I did in months there, so that's encouraging. I'm not giving up. I've lost a considerable amount of weight. Like I said in the opening clip, the shirt I'm wearing is now considerably big on me. I have clothes now that I've never got to wear because I always ordered the biggest size and they just didn't fit, so I just didn't wear them. Or I wore them maybe once and then never wore them again because they were so tight, they were uncomfortable. So that's encouraging too. It's just, I feel positive, and I guess there was a reason, a learning experience. There's a reason for everything. I don't know why, but for some reason I needed to learn this lesson that I'm capable, I'm strong, and I need to speak for myself and not just assume that everybody else is going to know what's best for me. Took me a lot longer than most people, but at least I learned the lesson and I'm doing better. So I'll have more videos, not about this subject, but more videos on the subject of progress and moving forward, of getting up and walking and pivoting and weight loss and all of that stuff. I'm going to talk about my medications and my other medical issues, but no more about my medical debacle, my skilled nursing stay. I'm done now, and I've said what I had to say, and I thank you all for listening, and thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.